Hi everyone, I'm Paul Menig with Business Accelerants, and I'm here with our podcast looking at how business leaders can accelerate profitable growth, how you can get more money from your business and more time for your life, and we dive into trends that are driving business. We look at the 8 drivers of business value and the 7 forces to align business success. Here with me today is Anamika Anderson, the head of MiaDonna Company. All puns intended, Anna has a unique, multifaceted business. It has value driven by technology, rarity, and beauty. It's also a business highly driven by its ethical supply mission. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that.
Why don't you explain a little bit in your own words?
Well, I'm the CEO and founder of MiaDonna Company. And we are a social enterprise, and we're located here in Portland. But I started my company about 13 years ago now. Gosh, time flies. But I came into this industry and started this business more of an activist than anything else. I was actually on bed rest pregnant with my son, and I'd found out because I was bored, had nothing to do, so I was doing a lot of research, and I found out that I'd most likely purchased a conflict diamond. My engagement ring most likely held a conflict diamond. The more research I did, I just uncovered a living nightmare, and I couldn't believe it. It was us women, the ones that are hardwired to protect children, that by buying this product, we had most likely hurt a whole generation of children. So that really stuck with me. So just to kind of make things right in my own mind, I started sponsoring a little boy in Liberia, Africa. He was 7 years old at the time, and we got to exchange letters, which was fantastic because I got a first-hand look of what it was like for this little boy to grow up in these conditions. It wasn't filtered by an adult or the media. It was pure, raw information. And one time he wrote to me and said, I had a great summer because only one of my classmates was killed.
Ooh.
Yes, and that was horrific for me because this was his daily life, and that was it was accepted as normal. And so I thought those words right there, they changed my life forever. So I started, the MiaDonna business plan started so innocently. I just wanted to sponsor more children. It's like, how can I sponsor more children like this little boy? How can I get them out of diamond mining? How can I empower them to live a life free of poverty and destruction? And so I thought, why don't I sell a conflict-free fine jewelry option, and with the proceeds, I will go to these diamond mining communities, mostly in West Africa, and sponsor these children. So that is the business plan of MiaDonna way back in the day, quite innocent. Yeah.
How many children do you think you've been able to sponsor since then, in 10 years or more?
It has such a multiplier effect too. If you help one child, it definitely has a multiplier effect, and you help more children. The first farm we did was over 500 reformed child soldiers that we were employing and training how to grow food instead of mine for diamonds. And we've done multiple projects like that ever since, so it's really hard to pinpoint the exact amount, but it's thousands.
I've seen on your website that you've traveled to Africa.
Yes.
How often are you able to do that?
I go every couple of years because I do like to take a personal look at our projects and making sure it does create an impact. When I started this, I really wanted it to be grassroots. I never wanted it to go higher to politics or any kind of really formal charity because they just take too much of the funds. I wanted it to be the diamond consumer directly helping the diamond miner. So we go there and actually create our own projects. I sit with the locals, I talk to them and say, what's going on? What do we need? What do you need? Tell me, how can I help you?
So if they need books for education or something, or they need clothing, or they need eyeglasses?
Yes. Well, I try to stick with farms. When I was starting this back in 2005, I had an amazing conversation with a BBC reporter, and he brought to my attention the worst thing that's happened is that a whole generation of people have lost the trade of how to grow their own food. So now they're relying on diamond mining or aid just to survive. Because during all the civil wars, most of the time it's illegal to grow food because ground's considered too valuable and natural resources that it's actually illegal to grow food. So we go in and we try to build farms and give the technology, give the equipment, give the seed banks, and the education so people can actually grow their own food. But then Ebola Unfortunately, the Ebola epidemic happened, so then we went in and sponsored orphans. There were 7,000 orphans created during the Ebola epidemic. So we do just try and help where it's needed.
You've used the words ecological, green, and environmental, and where I come from in the automotive industry in my career in industrial automation and things, they're a little bit different. I don't necessarily connect them directly with humans the way that you do, and not just plants and organisms in the soil. You talk about eco-friendly versus ethically produced more often, and you mentioned the term conflict diamonds, which is a little bit different because that involves armed conflict as opposed to just the horrendous situation of how people are being employed, how children are being employed to do the mining. So can you help me understand those nuances?
Sure. Well, eco is a term that is very known to consumers. And so that's basically why we've just cut it down to it's an eco diamond. My whole goal with MiaDonna and our foundation, the Greener Diamonds, is to be an advocate for the diamond consumer, an advocate for the diamond miner, and also an advocate for the environment. So anything we do in my company comes back to those three objectives. So yes, we watch out for the environment. Our lab-grown diamonds that we grow are 7 times less the environmental impact than mining one. No, there's absolutely no humanitarian abuses because we're not mining them. We're making our diamonds in a controlled modern-day lab environment. And then with our proceeds, we go back and actually enrich these areas. And then, of course, the consumer. That's what we say to our customers, is that we are just like you. We started this business because we were fed up with the way the diamond industry was run. So we're your advocate. Our lab-grown diamonds are up to 40% less than regular earth mine diamonds. We make everything in America, and we're just trying to do things right all the way around.
So where has the supply for your diamonds been over the last decade? What part of the country?
Well, it's varied. So when I started this in 2005, when I was trying to look for a conflict-free option that I could sell to be the sustainable funding source for our foundation, I soon found out that there was no such thing as a conflict-free diamond if you consider the environment and the earth, like we just talked about, if it came out of the earth. So that's when I started working with scientists and say, okay, how can we create something in a lab? We were creating industrial purpose diamonds back in 2005, but we really hadn't.
There weren't jewelry style diamonds. That was only for the carborundum and all the things that I'm familiar with in the factory for grinding things.
So we hadn't perfected the technology to get them into gem quality because the larger that we would grow a diamond, the yellower it would get. So we can actually, back then we could only grow diamonds to about 1/4 of a carat and they were yellow in color. So we've really come a long way with the technology. And actually last year, at 2016 now, MiaDonna scientists just grew the largest lab-grown diamond in America at 6.28 carats. So we've come a long way, and there are a lot more labs now. I mean, back then there was only one, well, there was 2 labs. One lab went, we're not doing this. No, this is not going to catch on. It's an uphill battle. But now there's labs everywhere, which is great. I always said that the lab-grown diamond is purely just the evolution of a diamond, evolution of an industry. Once we know better and once we know how to do things better, the product and industries evolve. And so the more people that are creating diamond out there in gem quality, I think is better for the whole industry.
So you say MiaDonna scientists. Is that perhaps a professor who has a grant or something working at a university, or
no, these are
an actual employee?
We actually contract out. We work with different labs, so we actually don't own our own labs. The good thing about that is that every lab now has a different recipe, which produce different diamonds. So we can have, we've got one lab in America that produces really high quality, large colorless diamonds, or I use another lab that produces pinks and blues and yellow diamonds, or
Do they, for the pinks and blues, do they have to put some sort of small impurity into the diamond structure to get the color?
It's all about the different gases that we release while we're creating the diamond. Okay. Yeah.
All right, interesting. So you actually created the supply chain.
Correct.
That's fabulous.
Yeah. I mean, as I said back in the day, we were going up against the earth mine diamond industry, and they didn't want this to come out at all. So it was a real uphill battle, and the diamond manufacturers, like I said, one of them pulled out and said, no, we can't do this, it's too hard. But I was there saying, do it. Let's create this diamond. I promise you I'll be able to sell it. There's a market for it. Okay. And I've proven that to be correct.
I'd like to come back to the eco in a minute, but because we're mentioning the supply and stuff, so there, I'm sure you've been interviewed a few times. De Beers announced a $94 million lab here to be built in this area. Is that good, bad?
In Portland, I couldn't believe that. Little old Portland. As I said before, the more people growing diamonds in a lab, I think is fantastic. But it's kind of ironic that De Beers have really tried to stop this technology from taking off. They have tried to...
The incumbent.
Right. They've tried to sue me. They have belittled me, attacked my character. They've tried to really stop the growth of lab-grown diamonds. And then they announced that they're growing diamonds just up the street from me. Was very interesting. But they have just created the biggest awareness campaign for lab-grown diamonds. It's absolutely been amazing, and I'm all for it. They've got a gazillion dollars behind them, and they are really bringing out lab-grown diamonds to the general public that had previously never heard about anything like this before.
Okay. Yeah. So back to the question of the eco, you said something that was really important to me about the overall ecological positive measure, because I've dealt a lot with electric vehicles, for instance, and we've argued about whether the mining and the electricity production and the coal and this and that is actually better or worse by the time you get to the electric vehicle. Fracking with natural gas vehicles, is it better for the environment or not? So where would I, if I were looking for that data, where might I find that information?
Stanley Morgan did a huge study, and also Frost and Sullivan did a huge study on the environmental impact of an earth mine diamond versus a lab-grown diamond. And that's where I got the statistic that lab-grown diamonds are actually 7 times less the environmental impact than an earth mine diamond.
Okay. Being an engineer, I wondered about how you produce all that pressure and stuff, and that takes energy.
It
so that's
does
great
take
to know.
energy. A lot of labs right now are using solar or hydropower. They're trying to offset the power by some natural source.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So you said you're a social enterprise. Correct. So your vision of success is going to be different than De Beers. De Beers, it's bottom line dollars kind of thing.
That's an old-minded industry.
You're a business and still have to make money because you need money to support the foundation. So how do you define success?
The impact I'm creating. It is, with my foundation, the Greener Diamond, it's so exciting at the moment because we've been able to do things that I only dreamt of doing 12 years ago. Right now we're currently looking at, we've taken everything we've done in the past 12 years and seen what worked and what didn't work, what created the most impact and what really didn't work. And now we're rolling out our own farm. It's going to be in Bong County in Liberia. And it's going to be a 10-acre farm where the communities actually come to our farm, stay with us in a dormitory style of living situation, and they learn everything from fish farming to growing their rice, everything they need to know. Then they'll go home to their own lands with a set of tools and then be able to grow food in their own farms. And we're going to train 200 people at once at this farm.
So when you say tools, you mean physically tools, education, and probably seed from what I've
Correct. Okay. It's kind of like a microloan, but not in cash. It's going to be in
I know. I was very proud. I got a little note from Kiva, an organization you probably have heard of, and somebody had repaid their last $8.26 of a loan and stuff, and I didn't have a way to say congratulations and thank you through the Kiva system that I found. Maybe it's there, but I just didn't find it yet.
Yeah.
So
that's actually a good
wonderful.
point. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's exciting.
E-commerce. In fact, Mao, when I talked with her here, she said this was an e-commerce. Now, it wasn't the first words I would have used, but you've started a home shopping kind of approach. How's that going? are there any issues that you need to work out? And I'm curious if it might be age dependent. Some people more comfortable with home shopping that and others less.
So we are web-based, but we do have a showroom here in Portland that people can come visit. It's actually a luxury showroom, so we shut it down for the customer for a whole hour, beer, champagne, wine, and just pull everything, all the jewelry out of the cases, and they can try on everything. So that's a great experience, but we are web-based, about 90% web-based. And well, millennials, the ones getting married at the moment, about 27 years old, is the Americans' national average of getting married. And they really appreciate the technology, I feel, that it takes to create a diamond, but then also the ease and personal experience of shopping online. We do realize that it's a style. Engagement rings are a style, so people need to actually see it and touch it. So we have a home try-on program. People can order 4 different rings, well, 3 at the moment, 3 different rings from our website, and we will send them out a sample of each of those rings. They can try it on the comfort of their own home and then send it back to us, totally free of charge. But then we also have a 30-day return policy, so you can order anything off our website, because all our jewelry is made to order. Because on our website you can choose the setting, but then choose the center stone, side stones, metal type, ring size. So you actually create it yourself. We will make it for you in our facility in New York and send it to you. If you don't like it for any reason, not totally in love with it, you send it back for a full refund. So we have made it very easy for the consumer to shop online.
So I've in the automotive industry and industrial automation, we're doing a lot with augmented reality and virtual reality and things like that. And I could easily imagine that as a minimum, you have 360 views capable on your website, but it can go beyond that in the very near future, where if they have some Oculus Rift glasses or something, they could actually be looking at it sized properly.
It's exciting. It really is exciting with the technology that's coming out. And I as an entrepreneur myself, I tend to go totally extreme. Everyone's got to pull me back a little bit, like, no, we can't do that quite yet. But it's exciting, yeah. Sky's the limit. We're growing leaps and bounds with the technology for e-commerce, so it's exciting.
One of the little detail things that you have to do is you sent some little measuring devices when you do the home shopping so that they could get some sort of an idea. Now, I grew up, my father did some jewelry making. He was a tool and die maker, so in the basement he did anything and everything. And so we had, the full set of trial sizes, just like any jeweler would have. And, he could measure, on the, I don't even know what it's called, but the metal rod that you check the sizing on and stuff. That seemed a little bit difficult to get sizing that way. How?
So with a home try-on, or even not with a home try-on, anyone can contact us and we can send them a ring sizer. So it's just basically, it looks like a little belt, really, that you wrap around your finger, and it will tell you the size. As opposed to the various sized ones that, my dad had the big ring with every size. If you come into the showroom, we'll probably do it the old school way. But if you need something at home, we can definitely send you a home try-on ring sizer.
Okay, wonderful. You started out because you were dissatisfied with the supply side of the business. And I think about some of the other stories that I read in the news, and what comes to mind, I mentioned fracking and electricity generation for electric vehicles and batteries. Mining of cobalt and lithium has some of the same issues, I think. And then, of course, in India with the clothing industry, kind of right next to jewelry.
And gold.
Similar thing.
Gold's just as complex as diamonds are. All our gold that we use actually is recycled. So we're not mining for gold either.
Okay.
Yeah.
So similar issues, but they haven't come up like an entrepreneur and decided to make a social conscious business out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else would you like people to know?
Well, just like you said, I'm loving that consumers are they're the ones that vote with their money. They're going to make industries change. They're going to make new products available just with what they're purchasing. And I love it that right now consumers are way more they're made more conscious of what they're purchasing. They want to ask questions. They want to know the origins. It's not about just price and marketing anymore, which is that very old school way of selling goods. The short-term financial gains at the long-term cost to the people and planet is simply no longer acceptable. So I'm loving where this consumer trend is going.
All right. That's wonderful. Well, thank you for
You're
actually
welcome.
creating an industry. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that when we started down this path.
Great.
Thanks for talking with us
Thank
and telling
you.
us about
Appreciate
how to
it.
build value in a business and the 7 forces.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.